Hi, it's Bree, and tonight we are going to talk about sharing your story and why sharing your story is important, whether you think it is or not, and really why your story is paramount for your success in this business. So I do have a laptop for us to, or a PowerPoint for us to follow along. So we will roll with that here. If at any time there are technical difficulties, please just shoot me a chat. You never know what's going to happen with me and my technology. So, your story and how to share it. And really, that should say how and why to share it. The good news is your story isn't over yet. The better news is you're the author. I think that's the beautiful thing about life in general, but really when we are talking about our story as a coach and just our journey as a coach or person, knowing that you're in control is exciting. It's so exciting. Wow. This has never happened to me before. My cat's just knocking down a big metal print. Great. Write your own story. Be your own hero. Speak your own truth and live your own dream. How powerful is that? But it's really easy to say. And when you tell somebody to speak their truth, that might be really terrifying for some of us, right? So let's talk about it. We need to first figure out who we're talking to. So if you're brand new, either brand new as a coach or just brand new in getting comfortable with posting on social media, then let's start at the beginning. Who are we talking to? And you might hear coaches talk about finding your avatar, finding your Waldo. Like, who is this person I'm trying to speak to? We'll talk about that in a second. The big thing to remember is that we need to position ourselves as the victor, not the victim. So people follow leaders, and leaders use their struggles to rise above. So as we're talking throughout this whole presentation, this whole idea, remember that we're going to share some pretty gritty things sometimes at your own comfort level. I'm not saying tomorrow that you need to, share all your skeletons in your closet, but over time, you're probably going to start sharing some really vulnerable truths about yourself. And when we do that, we are going to tell the story in such a way that it shows our people, our audience, how we rose above that situation, that trial or tribulation. We are going to learn how to use pain points. So as we are sharing our story, can the people reading our post, can they feel how we were feeling? Can they walk through it with us? Your story should paint a picture, and your reader should be able to feel like they are the ones living through that again, or feel like they're right by your side. So let's go back up to number one. Who are you talking to? Most of the time, we are talking to our old selves. So we're talking to the person who was tired of looking at herself in the mirror and wanting to punch her thighs because her jeans just wouldn't fit over her butt. That was me. Crying in the bathroom because you felt like you were doing so much and you felt like you were trying to lose weight, and it just wasn't happening in the way you expected or as fast as you expected or whatever. Or fill in the blank. Who were you before you got started on this journey? And as coaches, we have two facets to our journey, right? We have the fitness side. We all remember probably our first challenge group and how that felt joining it. And maybe just before we joined it, were we nervous? Were we just absolutely sick and tired of feeling so sick and tired? Whatever it was. And then on the flip side of that, we have who we were before coaching really changed our lives. Because as coaches, I'm preaching to the choir here, we read and we nourish our minds and we challenge ourselves and we grow our character. And so we're definitely growing as humans also on this coaching journey, which is why coaching's awesome. Here is right out of the new coach manual. So if we're going to share our story on the fitness level, This is very cut and dried and basic. And some of us need to start here, or some of us maybe need to get back to this and like sprinkle it in every now and again too. You'll say, you don't really have to say your name. Obviously people are going to know you on social, but where you're from, you can, and not like geographically either. Like I'm a small town girl, or I'm a single mom. Like, where are you coming from as a person? Let's do that. And then prior to getting started, or before I found blank, before I found home workouts, and then put it in there. What are your problems? What was that? Like I just said, like, as kind of sick and twisted as it sounds, that's my truth. I looked in the mirror and just cried and like punched my thighs because I've always just had a body image problem with that. And when I had baby weight and my pants wouldn't button, that's how I broke down. That's a pain point. I hated what I saw in the mirror. And so sharing that, because I know I'm not the only woman who's ever felt that way, or man, but I'm not a man. And then you insert the solution. Later, we're going to call this a pathway to paradise, but this is the basic framework. You can flip my results and solution, and then call to action. Not every single post we post, guys, is going to have a call to action. Like, that's when people start tuning us out, when we're like, PM me, comment below, blah, blah, blah. And that, I think, is one of the driving changes for our team. Shifting in how we're posting. We've got a whole new flavor happening now, and it's because we're not doing every single post like a drop this color heart below if you want to lose 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 30 pounds. We're not doing stuff like that anymore, because it got to be where everybody was doing it and white noise. So the number 5 can be kind of optional. We can reference this later. Like I said, it's in your new coach manual. 3 E's. We're bringing to you tips and tricks from the Cody Jefferson group, which many of us are doing, and that's where we're getting this new season of posting. And he has 3 E's for us. We're engaging people, we are empowering people, or we're entertaining people with our posts. So our posts are doing one of 3 things: engaging, empowering, entertaining. And they might do a mixture of both of those, maybe all 3, I don't know. Depends on your personality and depends on what story you're telling. And I like to say, well, okay, maybe 4. You're encouraging them as well. And encouraging and empowering can kind of go hand in hand and couple together. But you'll find your groove with posting in this new way, with being a storyteller, with writing in a way that helps people feel how you felt and brings them through it with you. But also, for me personally, I have always been the person to post a motivational thing. That's my jam. I love it. And I love it because I used to be so insecure and like super bitch that I didn't encourage anybody. And I'm just comfortable enough where I just want to encourage everybody, every woman who is struggling. For me, I'm just like pro cheerleader. And I like it. Maybe that's not you, and that's fine. You're going to find your groove though, and your flavor with this. So your story is you. That is the number 1 takeaway. If you walk away from here tonight thinking that you need to post more calls to action about your challenge group, or you need to post more calls to action about coaching, then I've done something wrong. Because tonight you need to realize and believe, really like tap into the fact that you are your brand. You are your product. We all have Shakeology. Thousands and thousands of coaches have Shakeology and BOD. But not everybody has your story. So I love this quote here. They buy relations, stories, and magic. And we know that we can't build trust, especially on a noisy social media platform, unless people feel like they're really getting to know us. And that's going to take some vulnerability. That's going to take being brave and just hitting post. But it's going to be so, so worth it. So worth it. How to write copy. I'm not going to lie. When I first heard Cody Jefferson say long copy, use the term long copy, I literally wrote in my notes, look up what is long copy. I was like, what is he talking about? And I am a college grad, I promise. But copy is just basically your text, thus the term copywriting. So let's start with a hook with your post. If you go and look at any of your friends who you know are participating in the Embrace the Lion Focus training, the Cody Jefferson training, go look at their wall, because you're probably going to notice that we're doing this. Either number one, we're coming out with an attention-grabbing question, a polarizing statement, or we're using some sort of letter format. I've done all three of these very recently on my wall, and these posts get really good engagement, really good, and behind the scenes, like conversations. So a question, what was the question I asked? I don't know, not important. But you can ask a question. Have you ever felt blank? Have you ever felt disgusted with your body? I don't know. Polarizing statement. Ooh, this was a good one, because I know that there are moms just cringing in their boots. But just yesterday, I let my 7-year-old part ways with me at Target, and we shopped independently, and then we met back up. And I know, like, some people were having coronaries. My whole point was, and the paramount statement for parenting is there's more than one way to parent. Like, no two parents are ever going to do everything the same. And that's just, I don't even know why mom groups bicker so much, because it's like, dude, just parent your child however you want, right? But my polarizing statement was in all caps, and I said, there's more than one way to parent a child. And then I took it down to lowercase and said, and helicopter isn't my style. And some people I know were just like, oh my God, like, how dare you let your little baby go by himself in the store? That's okay. Sometimes we want to polarize because we need to sift through the people who we're not wanting to attract. Does that make sense? Let me let that sink in for a minute. So we're looking for somebody, but the equal and opposite is true too. We're not looking for somebody. And we don't want to string somebody along if they're not jiving with us, if they're not really one of those people that are vibing with you, as kind of corny as that sounds. But let's be real, like, your vibe attracts your tribe. There's truth to that statement. So when we're putting out these kind of polarizing statements, we're trying to attract those, oh, me too, or, oh yeah, girl, I get it. Does that make sense? And then the letter format, that's really easy, but the power behind that is that people can really feel your heart. And Cody talks about it from a masculine perspective, in that he is really kind of cut and dried with his male clients. Like, he's rugged. The guy is covered in ink, and he swears, and he's also just witty as shit. He's hilarious. So he appeals to this woman who has those maybe manly qualities. But as a guy, and as a guy who coaches guys, to be able to show a vulnerable side, for Cody, he will do a letter. And that lets you peer into kind of the tender part of his personality. And for us too, that just shines new light on a different sort of vulnerability. So I wrote a letter to Jude. I do that a lot. And if writing and like blogging doesn't come naturally to you, just know that any habit is learned. So you can get in the habit of writing. You can learn these skills. It doesn't have to be a natural sort of talent for you, okay? You'll evolve with it. Okay, so pain points. They are just those things that you were feeling before you had something enter your life. So it sounds so basic, but let's talk about it. Feeling grief, feeling overwhelmed, feeling hopeless, feeling stuck, feeling what were you feeling? And then what happened so that you weren't feeling that way anymore? So, okay, I was feeling hopeless and stuck, and then I quit drinking. That's part of my story. You were feeling worthless and like a shitty mom or wife because you were so tired from being overweight and you weren't taking care of yourself and feeling your body. And then you found what? A really easy way to follow good nutrition, right? Whatever it is, this is all individual. And any of these coaches in this group would, I'm going to speak for all of us because teamwork makes the dream work, be happy to help you get your copy down. So people don't care about your success until they've heard your struggle. That's part number 2, why sharing your story is so important. They don't care that, Christina Sullins is living in her dream house. They're like, oh, well, good for you. Unless they know that Christina Sullins was burnt out in the fitness industry and, ended up actually unemployed, because then they know that it's real. There was a real problem. She really plugged in, and now she's living her truth, and her truth includes this solution that is this business that's here for all of us too. Hope that example makes sense. I never write notes below my PowerPoints. Like, I just use them as things to go from. Okay, so grab a sheet of paper and a pen. I can't see you, so I'm going to give you like 25 seconds. I'll hydrate a little. I want you to have a sheet of paper and a pen so that you can at least start to get the feel for how to write these things. Is it 25? It's close enough. So let's just say, and guys, my reference for this, if you've been to any of Christina Sullins' presentations or Coach Camp, I think a few years ago, Coach Camp, she did this. She handed out literally like a sharing your story 4-page thing. And so I just took it directly from there. So before I found at-home workouts, before I found an easy to follow idiot-proof nutrition program, before I found my coach, Stephanie, before I found this opportunity, whatever it is. Can I just go on a little segue here? Remember though, let us still incorporate Chalene Johnson's curiosity marketing concept and not really like give away all the goods up front. If you don't agree with me, that's okay too. If your audience really responds to you just being super blunt and like laying it all out on the table, that's your style and that's your personality. But I think that to stimulate conversation and to get them interested in like, what are you doing? Let's talk about it. And then open up that platform for dialogue for you to go back and forth. Yeah, I would love to share with you what I'm doing. What are your health goals? Whole different Zoom call, but let me just stick that in there. Like, don't ramble on about Shakeology and Energize and the containers. And then I have this 30-minute workout, whatever. Like, they're sleeping, they're bored. They don't need to know all that junk right now. What they need to know is that you had a problem and then you solved it, right? And then we'll take it back into Facebook Messenger and we'll talk about it. So write it down before whatever your problem was or whatever you found. What happened? Before I found coaching, I felt like I would never be able to pay off my debt. When was it? 3 years ago, let's just say. I don't know. Kaylee and Sarah are like financial freedom girls, so they would be able to fill this in better. Describe how you felt during that time. You felt trapped. You felt hopeless. You felt like you were running in quicksand. Who knows? It's really important to play up the feelings. Those are your pain points. And then this is the pain point too. How did it affect you and your family, your work, your social life? Like what was it doing to your life? What was this problem? How was it manifesting? Like, why was it such a big problem? And ta-da, your pathway to paradise. What did you learn in order to overcome? So old habits versus new habits. It can be a mindset. It can be just the coaching opportunity in general. It can be that you found your fitness program. What is it? Take a screenshot if you want to. Okay. Now let's do the sharing fitness bit of it, because we should theoretically be able to share our fitness story in like 30 seconds. Anytime somebody's like at the grocery store, oh, what do you do? Oh, I see you have a 21-day fix jacket on. What is that? Okay. Identify your results first. How much weight have you lost since you got started, or inches you lost, whatever. What are your results? Or say we're all getting ready to do 80-day obsession. So like, oh my gosh, I just got off this program, and at the beginning of it, seriously guys, I could only do 5 regular push-ups, and now I can do 20 without struggling, or whatever it is. Make something up for this theoretical example. But if you have a fitness story to share right now, what is it? What kind of emotional results did you see as well? And then again, we're thinking about how we felt before that. What was the problem? What was the pain point? Why did you want to get started? And then during, like, you're starting to feel empowered. You're starting to feel inspired. You're starting to believe in yourself. What is it? You notice that your marriage improved because you actually had energy to converse and interact with your husband after work, instead of being so exhausted and sluggish that you could just lay on the couch and watch The Office for 2 hours, whatever it is. And what are those results you've achieved now? How can you help them as a coach? If you're posting this online on, say, Facebook, well, then how can you help them? This would be a call to action post. Unless you're doing just something general, like, I'm here for you when you're ready. Like, sometimes I'll throw that out there. Just a bland kind of blanket statement also. Because too many calls to action, in my opinion, make you salesy. And then people are just going to think, oh, at the end of this post, she's just going to want me to join her challenge group or whatever. So we don't want every post to kind of follow the same format, if that makes sense. Oh, and my resources. Cody Jefferson, Embrace the Lion. So if you go to his Facebook page, he's also on Instagram. Just Google or search up Cody Jefferson in the search bar on Facebook. Awesome guy. Best $150 I've spent, or 130, or however much it was. New Coach Manual, page 9 for that sharing your story, and then that story template, like I said. So I'll stop the slideshow. After I read this Zig Ziglar quote, people like you, they'll listen to you, but if they trust you, they'll do business with you. And we gain trust through sharing our story and being raw and real. Okay. I talked very fast. Okay, I'm going to stop recording and we'll take live questions. If you have questions and you're watching this recording, please comment below or ask the coach that shared this link with you.